I'm Rob Poyton from the Innsmouth Book Club. Join me and my fellow guide John Chadwick as we take you on a fortnightly tour of Innsmouth. We visit places such as the Picture House, the Library and Innsmouth Museum to discuss all aspects of weird fiction, whether it be book, film, music, TV or art. As well as that, we stop over at the Gilman House to have a chat with a resident guest. That includes authors, artists, musicians, in fact Lovecraftian creatives of all types. You can find our free shows on Patreon, and there you can also sign up as a patron, which brings you bonus content, plus a monthly PDF copy of Innsmouth News, which features articles, author spotlights, all the latest news and reviews, and more. You can find us at patreon.com/InnsmouthVC. We hope to see you soon, because remember, Innsmouth isn't just a place, it's a state of mind.
Hey everyone, it's me, DB. New sponsor on the show, Glary. Glary offers a great price and better quality goods and services for music lovers. Are you looking for good prices, free shipping, 100% quality guarantee? Glary's got you covered. Guitars, bass guitars, mandolins. They've got saxophones, trumpets, drums. They've got guitar cases, amplifiers, all the stuff that you need without having to break the bank. Inexpensive doesn't have to mean cheap. Check out the show notes to find more about Glary. 20-watt amplifiers for under $50. Hard cases for your electric guitar for under $80. Guitars themselves for under $90. Come on, folks, check out the show notes. Get a Glary. Hey, everyone. It's me, DB. Just reminding you, we have t-shirts in the shop. Just go to pgttcm.com. Check out all our cool t-shirts and stickers. Heck, we even got some shelf curtains in there. Keep clean, look cool, have cool stickers to put on stuff. Join us on Patreon, get a free sticker. Or don't. It's up to you. This episode is brought to you by California Tea House. California Tea House is a family-owned tea store where you can find some of the world's best loose-leaf tea and organic herbal tea blends. Like a fine wine, there is no comparison between fine loose-leaf and common broken-leaf tea bags. So, check them out. Check them out. They have quite a bit of pretty awesome tea collections. I'm a huge fan of their white teas. They have a tea club that you can join, but, they've got green tea, black tea, white tea, oolong, that Robios, and herbal tea. They've also got teaware. So check out California Tea House in the show notes. You're listening to KZOM, Oleander Public Radio. Greetings, listeners. It is I, DB Spitzer, Informer Dave, here once again to talk to you about the Cthulhu Mythos, its books, its monsters, its unfortunate human casualties, its timeline in general, and even its tangential bits, like the dreamlands or things of a weird nature that are Lovecraftian leaning. Once more we head into those dark woods, further feeling those malevolent forces upon us. Once again we walk down the lightless stone staircase in the middle of nowhere. You're listening to KZOM.
Hello everyone, this is DB Spitzer, and on to my virtual right is usually my good friend and co-host, Farmer Dave, David Heath. Dave, how the heck are you doing this week?
I am doing, all things considered, I am virtually doing well.
All right.
Yes, unfortunately, I got a bit of the COVID.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I had my 2 boosters. In fact, I was scheduled to get my 3rd booster. And so it's basically been an annoying. I've been sicker.
Yeah.
And so I am so grateful that I didn't get this years ago. Or, I've had friends who had family that just went through something terrible, even though they've had the booster. So I am extremely lucky.
Yeah.
I am at an undisclosed location, though, so that I do not spread to anyone else. And I'm sure everybody is wondering, but we do have people taking care of the goats, and I miss them very much, and I will be heading back. And I'm not sure if goats can catch COVID, but farm workers can. So I'm recuperating at a undisclosed location somewhere in Oregon.
Well, all the people here miss you, and that includes goats, because goats are people, as you've told me more than once. So, Dave, earlier you were talking about, you've been through worse, awful things, and luckily we're talking about something that's awful. That isn't a thing you've really had to deal with, and no one outside of Call of Cthulhu and Lovecraftian fiction has had to deal with. And I don't know. I've heard a lot of different pronunciations of this. I say LLOIGOR, but I'm not quite sure what you call them.
I think so, but I think maybe our Spanish listeners might call it Igor.
Yeah. Okay.
With 2 L's at the front. I'm not sure. And, there are 2 LLOIGORs. So is that a plural of LLOIGORs, or are they LLOIGORI?
I don't know. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. So, what are they? Can you take us through this, what they are even? I've said that they're terrible, but what are they?
So let's start with LLOIGOR 1.
Okay.
And LLOIGOR 1 is created by our good friend, August Derleth.
All right, Augie Dog Derleth. What do we got?
Basically, it's good old Derleth. And so it's one of 2 twin monstrosities.
Woohoo.
It has a twin named Czar.
Okay.
And they are somewhere in what we now call Myanmar, or used to be Burma. And they're star spawn. They're basically little Cthulhus with extra tentacles and wings.
Okay.
And so this actually comes in a short story called The Lair of the Star Spawn.
Okay.
And again, this is like it's like a 90-year-old story.
Yeah.
But there's going to be spoilers.
Okay.
And so basically, this expedition to Burma gets captured by, I don't know if it actually says it at the time, but they're basically the Chocho people.
Yeah.
And he meets this person who is like this llama, not Yama like the alpaca, but a Buddhist monk who is able to basically project his spirit and send out a warning because they're trying to raise these two star spawn. And Derleth here does something that I think is both just ridiculous and utterly cool. When they call forth the Star Warriors.
Yeah.
To best of my knowledge, Star Warriors have never appeared in any other short story and have never appeared in any of the Call of Cthulhu supplements.
Yeah.
But they basically look like the Carl's Jr. logo, but shooting out sparks and lightning.
Okay.
And they ride space motorcycles that look like cigars.
Okay. All right.
And they come back, and it's both I think they're both cool and stupid,
Yeah.
and this way that only August Derleth could create.
Yeah.
And so they ride their space cigar motorcycles, and they come down, and then they shoot electricity out through their hands and destroy the lair of the star spawn.
Oh, wow.
And now, I have to admit, the older I get, the more other things I've read,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't hold up as well as the first time I read it as a teenager.
Uh-huh.
But it's good, trashy pulp.
Yeah.
And if you haven't read it, it's good for that. At least this ending scene where the Star Warriors come up and demolish everything, and then our heroes basically escape. But this is set in like 1910.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So they're an aerialist rescue them.
Okay.
But it's got to be a balloon because airplanes just aren't mass produced, especially in Burma.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, what a cool character. I want to know more about this aviator or this aerialist that saved him at the end.
Uh-huh.
And it never says. I always kind of figured maybe it was like a female, sort of steampunk hero. But I would like to see her in more stories.
Okay.
So
Pretty cool.
that is LIGOR 1.
All right. What do we have for LIGOR 2?
So LIGOR 2 appears in
A book.
a short story first called The Return of the LIGOR.
Okay.
And this is by Colin Wilson,
All right.
which is not Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I would think it would be so cool if the actor who played Morbius, Morbius had actually written this. But it's not. It's not Owen Wilson, and it's not. When I first read it too, I was thinking it was Robert Wilson,
Okay.
who wrote or is co-writer for the Illuminati trilogy.
Uh-huh.
And what threw me off is LIGORs appear in the Illuminati trilogy,
Mhm.
at least as a thrown-out name.
Yeah.
But this is someone completely different, just same last name.
All right.
And in this, they are energy creatures.
Okay.
But they're are some sort of pure energy, psychic matter or something. But when they come to Earth, they have to create a physical form to interact in Earth.
Okay.
And it becomes reptilian. So they are seen as dragon-like.
All right.
And so a lot of people consider, and I've read it, and I enjoyed it, and I really think I need to reread it. Return of the LIGOR
Mhm.
is actually kind of like highfalutin Lovecraft, or Wilson tries very hard to write a highbrow story, I think.
Yeah.
And so the writing is very good, the thinking, the thought is very good, and in a very typical, Lovecraft manner, he has a character who's telling the story. But this character, unlike a lot of Lovecraft's characters, has a name.
Yeah.
And it is Dr. Leng. Which, and remember, Wilson's playing with things. He knows this is 60s or 70s. He knows Lovecraft almost as well as anybody.
Sure.
So I always wonder, and I don't think he ever wrote this down, was Lang a play on Lang? L-A-N-G instead of L-E-N-G.
I don't know. But
And
like
to best of
that.
my knowledge, he never said that. And it probably is just one of those coincidences.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing that Wilson does in this story is he takes the real world and he starts more into the Cthulhu Mythos world.
Mhm.
So instead of the Necronomicon, Lang is studying the Voysich Chronicle, which is a real book.
Yeah. The
I don't.
Voynich manuscript.
Manual, yes, excuse me.
No, no
which
problem.
which is either written in this incredibly advanced code that nobody has been able to crack, or it was written hundreds of years ago as a hoax, and it's in a nonsense language.
Yeah, there may be some sort of in between that we haven't thought of yet, but yeah, I don't think it's some sort of alien language. I don't think it's some sort of like, I don't know, Renaissance era time travelers guide. Um, I
So,
oh yeah,
no. So Wilson's sort of interpretation is that it's a cover,
sure.
and that there's actually it's a cover. That the real book that talks about the LIGORs and
Sure.
the supernatural is
Uh-huh.
actually written in invisible ink.
Okay.
And so, Leng discovers this, but he also discovers that in this universe,
Uh-huh.
Lovecraft was real.
Okay.
And that Lovecraft wrote the books that he wrote as sort of a warning.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, it is a really well written story that I'm sure I appreciate more the older I get.
Sure.
Now, my first experience with the LIGOR is actually going to be the LIGOR 2, Wilson's version.
Uh-huh.
And that was from the 3rd edition Call of Cthulhu core book.
Okay.
And there's a adventure called the Water Horse.
Oh.
Where it's a Nessie-like creature that
Uh-huh.
turns out, and again, this is a 40-year-old module, so spoilers, that the sea monster turns out to be a LIGOR.
Okay.
And that was where I first came in, and I don't believe that current editions include that adventure,
Yeah.
but you can get it. It's in quite a few things. Maybe the Call of Cthulhu starter kit, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's at least the 3rd, I think the 4th edition had it as an adventure. And you can definitely pick it up online.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, no, I have to say I probably ran across it somewhere in 5th edition of Call of Cthulhu. Yeah,
It's one of the classics.
It's one of the classics. It's in books as you go back. I don't know where it first appears and where it last appears, but it's in the last book that I bought. So last few books that I've bought, whether that be this edition or that edition, this digital edition, the most common, most current digital edition I have, I think, is 7th edition of the core rules for Call of Cthulhu, and I'm pretty sure they're in it. Both LIGORs.
It's definitely pretty common.
Yeah.
One other thing that's very, I think, interesting about Wilson's LIGOR
What's that?
is that they have a mind different than human beings.
Okay.
So they're only capable of almost feeling pessimism. They're hardwired that way.
Okay.
They also don't have sort of these Freudian concepts of id and ego and superego.
Yeah.
They really are lizard brains.
Yeah. I mean,
And they're just
yeah.
and super intelligent lizard brains.
Yeah, that's just pretty much like, this is so alien you wouldn't even understand it, man.
Yes. Now, I'm pretty sure that, and consult your local lawyer before you consult me.
Oh, sure.
But I'm pretty sure that everything Derleth wrote is public domain now.
Yeah, I definitely consult your lawyer.
Yeah, but I would say that even though they appear, I'm pretty sure Wilson's is still under copyright.
Okay.
At least the story.
Sure.
But they appear in other places. And there's also sort of this idea of the Leononoris, which are sort of Della throughout, which are these sort of aerial beings that he doesn't describe that protect the two, the star spawn. So he doesn't really describe them. Are they flying polyps? Are they Migo? Or are they, Are they Owen's version?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Wilson's version?
I don't know. That's crazy.
I don't know.
Huh.
But that's pretty much what I had to say about the subject.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. After the break, we will be talking about a place that LIGOR uses to like walk around and get places faster. That's the Plateau of Leng, dreaded Leng. All right. Hey everyone, it's me, DB. You know what I'm here to talk about. Copper Cow Coffee, my favorite coffee to drink in the morning. I drink it cold as a cold brew. I throw a couple of bags into a mason jar, put it in some water, screw that up tight, put it in the fridge, or set it on the counter, and let that go overnight. Or I'll throw some in the espresso maker, or even just how it was intended. Tear off the little paper top, slowly pour 3 to 8 ounces of water into your favorite mug, or, I don't know, someone else's favorite mug if you're visiting. Super portable. You can show it off. I don't know. Dads and grads love coffee. Why don't you get some for your dads and grads? And hey, if you're traveling this summer, you know what? It's super nice, super portable, awesome for camping, awesome for RVs and stuff like that, and super good if you're just like traveling and just want to have like a little bit of coffee with you, but don't want to like overdo it. And you know, say you're somewhere, I don't know where you're somewhere the coffee isn't great, or you're going somewhere where the coffee isn't great. Copper Cow's got you covered. And hey, do you like chocolate? Check.
Everybody likes chocolate.
Everyone likes chocolate. Taz of Chocolate has vegetarian chocolate, and I know that sounds awful, but they use cashew milk instead, and it is pretty good stuff. So check out Taza in the show notes and help support the show. This episode is brought to you by Donner. Check out the show notes to find a good deal at Donner. Like the sound of this? This is the Donner Island Delay, and the really cool Donner LP that I've shown off on like Instagram. Check it out. They've got some really good summer deals, and check out their snap deals as well. Use the link in the show notes to help support the show. Get yourself some cool musical instruments, maybe some patch cords. Cool.
Prepare for a spine-tingling, nerve-shattering podcast featuring all your favorite monsters. You won't believe your ears when you listen to Monster Kid Radio. Here are your hosts, Derek M. Cook, and his ever-rotating stable of guests discuss your favorite classic and sometimes not-so-classic monster movies. Subscribe to Monster Kid Radio through iTunes or Stitcher, or visit MonsterKidRadio.net before the next weekly episode of Monster Kid Radio. Go through the archives for interviews with Sarah Karloff, Victoria Price, and Joel Hodgson. Listen to discussions about movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Island of Terror, and King Kong. And don't forget convention coverage from Monster Bash and the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival. Classic monsters, modern talk, and the head of Rondo Hatton. Only on Monster Kid Radio.
You're listening to KZOM, Oleander Public Radio. Hey Dave, guess what?
What?
We're now talking about the Plateau of Leng, or just Leng. I mean, excuse me. Just adjusting myself so I'm not sitting in a weird spot. So, we've talked about Leng while talking about other things, but I think this is the first time we've talked about Leng directly. It's a place where, depending on who you're reading, there are children of Tsathoggua, there are inky creatures, there
Spiders.
There's spiders. There is the Cho-Cho. There are the horned men of Leng. There is all kinds of stuff, and it apparently connects to the Dreamlands. It connects to oh goodness, somewhere.
Antarctica.
Oh, Antarctica. Yeah, Antarctica. We talked about where the LIGOR hangs out in, where was it, Nepal or?
I believe it was Burma.
Burma. Thank you. So, yeah, no, and you have, like, all the places it could be connected that you may not know about. And, yeah, if it's connected to Antarctica, if it's connected to Burma, where else is it connected to? It's connected to the Dreamlands.
It's connected to you.
What? But yeah, I mean, you could use it as a transplaneral crossroads. You could think of it as one of Earth's few fourth-dimensional naturally occurring features that makes it able so that you can go from Earth to other places. But, it's just, naturally occurring. Why wouldn't you be able to do that? I mean, come on. What are you, three-dimensional, two-dimensional? But,
I was advised there would be no math.
But, say you have something from, the upper dimensions and stuff, and it uses this, naturally occurring surface, this thing that would, stick out like a sore thumb. So, anything that's, four-dimensional or fifth-dimensional, they'd just be able to look through Earth and then be like, oh, wait a minute, there's something that's actually multi-dimensional, and then they could use that to, I don't know, maybe interact with things better, go places faster, and creatures that are three-dimensional, they'd just or maybe it'd just be a point of interest for fourth, fifth, sixth-dimensional creatures, but a way for three-dimensional creatures who know about it to move around it and know how to say the right incantations and move your hands the right way so that you don't get, smashed. Or you don't, I don't know, so you don't get some godling or child of Azathoth or grandchild of Azathoth or something like that. Maybe Leng is the point that connects four-dimensional space to seventh-dimensional space, and it's one of the few points where you can actually on our planet you can actually even contact Azathoth and get a clear signal. It's can you hear me now? Yeah. But yeah, no, that's one way to think about Leng for your role-playing games. Is it could be massive non-Euclidean space, much like R'lyeh. It's one of those places, but maybe it's more than just how where Cthulhu lived was non-Euclidean and things folded in on itself, and maybe it's more complex than that because it's something that is associated with Azathoth directly in various stories, and it's brought up. Everyone brings it up. I don't know, is you could treat it people just bring it up as a mythical thing, or you can make it a mystical thing, or something somewhere in between where it's that's garbage, but it's oh no, it's not. It's totally not. And you can do a whole, oh man, this is so Call of Cthulhu. Hey, did you know that you could do an Indiana Jones knockoff where you go to Burma and find the Plateau of Leng, and bad guys follow you and madness ensues for everyone? But it's you're able to get out and the bad guys are stuck there or something, or get trampled by black inky elephant things with white eyes. Geez, it's there's all kinds of weird stuff on the plateau of Leng. I mean, it could be a conduit to a lot of different worlds. You could bring in all kinds of stuff. If you're not even if you're not playing a Call of Cthulhu or a Lovecraftian game, it could be some sort of gateway that lets like monsters come through and just call it, oh, it's the plateau of Leng. It's dreaded. You can travel to a lot of different places and even to different worlds, but there's all kinds of monsters there, and just have alien monsters. But I mean, that's basically great old ones. But anyway.
So I believe that Pathfinder actually has this as a demi-plane.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So I also just want to throw out there, Chris, Leng, you're right. It appears in a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any of the original Mythos writers in the 30s, except maybe Darrowth, and I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Really set anything in Leng. It was basically one of those throwaway things.
Yeah. Even in dreaded Leng. Ooh. Yeah.
And it first appears in what I think is the terribly underrated The Hound.
Yeah.
It's first mentioned. And you're right in that Leng is in Burma or the Himalayas. It's in Antarctica.
Yeah.
It's in the Dreamlands.
Yeah.
What if maybe that's not? Maybe Leng's in everything.
Yeah.
Maybe Leng's in everything. It's just that those particular places, you can see it better.
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking, what if Leng was back in the times of Zafum Heimbrach or whomever, the necromancer Hondur and Vormithadreth. If underneath Vormithadreth, where Sathagwa hung out, somewhere down there was like a gateway to Leng or the plateau of Leng. But I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, there could be stuff all over the place. The Mound in Oklahoma in H.P. Lovecraft's The Mound with, was it Hazel Heald?
I believe so.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you should check that one out if you haven't read it, everyone. It's pretty cool. But I mean, that could be a connection to Leng down there. There's stuff in various stories written by a lot of different people where Leng is mentioned. But yeah, Lovecraft, I think, is like the one who really did it. And I want to say Plateau of Leng, or just Leng itself, is used by other people back in the day as much, if not more, than the term Necronomicon.
I would like to see a spreadsheet comparing the two. But you're definitely right. It's definitely one of those approved you can use as a throwaway item in your stories to get this sort of combined hoax going. So yes, definitely quite a few people used it.
Yeah. And like something that you could do with Leng is create like a way for your modern characters to go into a fantasy world, but it would be the Dreamlands, and it would be much like characters in the Dark Tower series where they're going to, which Stephen King, I think, has said that's the Dreamlands. But
so I believe he does use Leng. I believe he and he and his son,
Joe Hill,
writes under Joe Hill.
Yeah.
I believe in Lock and Key, the creatures are called the people of Leng. And again, it's just a throw-out description, but like father, like son.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
So King definitely has used Leng, and in fact, I think that's where Ronald Flagg found the book written by Alhazarad to teach him magic. It was in the Plateau of Leng.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's something I hadn't even thought of, is its connection to the Stand, or Are we talking about the stand, or are we talking about
I
the?
think I'll double check my source here. I got my notes here. I came across actually a story that I had not read.
Okay.
I'll look at the title in a moment. But and both the kings, they like their Lovecraft.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think too that Stephen has said that Ronald Flagg, if not an avatar of Nyarlathotep, is a worshiper, a practitioner of him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think using it as like a multi-dimensional, like cosmic crossroads for whatever, whatever kind of genre of role-playing game you're playing, that's how it works. I mean, we're not talking the cool, friendly kind of like, oh, it's the tavern between the worlds kind of place. It's not that. I mean, that kind of place would get stomped flat by like elephantine things with crystal tusks, or it would be full of men of Lang, and I don't even want to know what they drink.
Yes.
I wonder if men of Lang and people of Lang are more or less the same thing, but I don't know. I haven't read those books.
Yeah, I think people of Lang might be a little bit more politically correct.
Yeah, and we all know that the people of Lang know how to get to the moon to give stuff to the moon beasts. So
yeah,
there we go.
So to me, Lang is kind of like the Mythos Tesseract.
Yeah,
it's kind of this. It is the gate. I mean, I know Yogg-Sothoth is the gate, but it's sort of there. It's a gate unless you're a worshiper of some form of Yogg-Sothoth. You probably don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
And so it's a gate that more controls you than you control the gate.
Okay. Interesting. I like that. Yeah, I was thinking, well, yeah, never mind. I really don't have a follow-up for that, but yeah.
That's really all I have for Lang and its people of.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. And you could definitely do something like create the Book of Lang, or a society, like a old-timey exploration club called I don't know, something like the South Wales Burmese Exploration Club, but what they really are is cultists of Shaunar Fawn and practitioners of Chow Chow magics or dietary whatnot. And you could just sprinkle that kind of stuff in there. You could sprinkle in like all kinds of things with dealing with Lang, because maybe Lang has a marketplace. Maybe that's something that Lang has. Maybe that's one reason why people go there. But there's like all the terrible things, because things aren't necessarily meant for like the normal persons. Mostly meant for, I don't know, large alien beings that don't necessarily think of humans as more than like something to mess with and like snack on.
An annoyance?
Yeah, and an annoyance that they can snack on. But yeah. Use Lang at your own risk. Proceed with caution with Lang. I mean, you could do what you want with it. You could do what you want with it. And, it's like early I said, oh, I wouldn't put a bar in it. And it's like, you know what, now that I think about it, you do it right. It'd be kind of interesting. Like, what is on the plateau of Lang?
It's
a large place, too.
And with all this reality warping, it sort of falls in, makes sense, is the King in Yellow.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It could be tied into cities that have, like, succumbed to earthquakes or fires or whatever. We've talked about that kind of thing in the past. And, Leng envelops it. There could be a part of Leng that is, like, I don't know, the cities that Carcosa is done with, and it's just like this bent shell of, like, an ashy city or something like that. I don't know, you could do a lot with Leng, I feel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you once again for listening to the show. Dave, anything you want to say before we head out?
No, other than, everybody be safe and, have a great one.
All right. Everyone, stay squiggly and keep it weird. And we'll see you next time when we're talking about something from the Cthulhu Mythos. And stay tuned to our weekly show, or our daily show, where we have all kinds of cool sci-fi stories from the July 1930 astonishing stories of super science.
That's super science. I'm astonished.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff in there too. Stuff about, like,
the pulps.
If we shoot it with a laser, it'll disintegrate. Look, it's an organic gel. Anyway, it's pretty fun stuff. But yeah, all right, everyone, have yourselves a good one, and we'll talk to you in the near future.